So I thought I'd give us a few shark jokes. What did the shark say after eating a clownfish?
What did he say?
This tastes a little funny. What did the shark say when he was accused of hitting his brother?
All right, team, here's we switched something out. Alicia, if you can make a note, we cannot go live on Facebook. It's not working. We are live on YouTube. So if you can copy the link from Strengthening Stark YouTube page and just paste that onto Facebook, same thing we did before. Let's just do that. It's working. At least we're live. Okay. With that. I love it. Okay. And all the participants, please go ahead and turn your videos on now. And keep yourselves muted. Perfect. And Teresa, you can see the PowerPoint. Thumbs up. Yes, no?
What I can see is the Shark Tank brochure.
Perfect, good. All right. We're up and running. Excellent. All right, good afternoon, everybody. Hello, welcome sharks, welcome students, welcome educators, welcome parents, family members, friends of our esteemed students who have worked so very hard over the last many months to prepare for this Shark Tank event. Our sincere apologies for starting a few minutes late. I think it's really important to highlight right up front, this technology business is new for many of us, so we're going to work through it. I can assure you this is not the first hiccup of the afternoon, but part of the what it takes to be a good entrepreneur, I suppose, is to be resilient and to fall forward every time. So we're learning and we're adapting, and so that's keeping in sort of theme with our afternoon. So I want to begin by just thanking a handful of folks for making this whole event happen. We wouldn't be here unless for the sharks, the four sharks. Ken Brott really being a spearhead of a lot of the ideas that have come together today. Want to give our deepest, sincerest thanks to Stark Educational Partnership, Teresa Persis and her team, Jay Moody. They've worked tirelessly over the last many months, and they've all been adaptive. We've been working in the COVID crisis. Unfortunately, we came close to not having this event at all. And we're so glad that we can actually make this happen in one form or another. So again, thank you so much for all the participants and all the folks who have supported us. My name is Vishu Mahalaha. I work with an organization called Strengthening Stark. Strengthening Stark is really just a giant movement. Strengthening Stark is all about how we take all of our pieces across Stark County, the leaders, the organizations, the incredible thinkers, the doers, and how do we collectively pulled ourselves together so we can just do much more collectively than we can do individually. And I hope that many of you can sort of see just on the screen all the folks, and I will stop sharing my screen just for a second so you can see what an incredible array of talent we have. So if you can look at your screen and see all the partners, all the students that have gathered to make this happen. Strengthening Stark is all about finding ways to unleash our collective energy. We've got a fun afternoon planned for us today. I'd like to start by introducing the sharks. So if everyone could, all the students, if you wouldn't mind turning off your video cameras, I'd appreciate that. We have four amazing sharks with us. Sue Grabowski is our first person. She started off, so something you should know about our sharks is that they're all local folks, bootstrapped themselves and are sort of success stories. So we wanted to highlight that, you know, this is feasible and attainable for any of our students. Sue started out cleaning her dad's auto repair shop. Now she's the CEO of Desidera. It's an integrated marketing firm. They do a lot of things. They help create marketing strategies, social media, programming. but more than anything else, they're in the business of helping customers acquire clients. We're so proud of everything that Sue does in our community. And we asked each shark what would be their one advice they would have for our students. And so here's what Sue said. I love this. Do it afraid. Entrepreneurship involves risk. It is scary. You may fail, but you learn from every right and every wrong move. You'll distinguish yourself from your peers by taking calculated actions, not waiting for the path to be laid out in front of you. So Sue, thank you for joining us. We're so glad that you're part of the team. Next up, Dr. Dominic Magnolia. Dom started off as a caddy at Congress Lake, and now he's the executive chairman of U.S. Acute Care Solutions. It's a national physician-owned emergency medicine, hospitalist, and observation services company, which is just a lot of things. What you should know is that their company works across 20 states, across 220 locations, and Dom is absolutely killing it. So he's just an amazing local shark. So Dom, thank you for bringing your expertise to our students. Dom's advice, focus and go all in on your dream. He who chases two rabbits catches none. Focus, follow your dreams. That's Dom's advice. Next up, we have Mark Fedor. Mark started off being a dishwasher at a local Friendly's ice cream, and now he's the president and CEO of Morgan Engineering. Morgan Engineering designs, builds, and implements world's most complicated material handling equipment. And so we're so excited that Mark is here with an incredible amount of engineering and problem-solving insights. Mark's advice to our entrepreneurs today is realize today's best will not meet tomorrow's challenges, and move forward courageously in the midst of uncertainty. This is a quote from John Maxwell, and Mark sort of lives and dies by that every single day. Finally, quite thankful for Ken. Ken Broad is a good friend, a mentor to me, and so I'm so glad that I've had a chance to get to know Ken. Ken started off as a paper boy, and now he's the CEO of KDB Services and Sargent Cleans Car Wash. It's a business that, if you have a chance, any of you have a chance to talk to Ken, it's amazing. He and his brother and his colleagues have transformed the business of car washes using technology. It's just fascinating what they are doing, and they're in our backyard. Ken's philosophy: life is short. Take a risk. Every good entrepreneur has failed. The difference is how many times did you try? So Sharks, thank you so much for joining us. I wish we had a fancier video collage that the real Shark Tank does, but you have to settle for me today. So with that, we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to move relatively quickly. So give me a second. I'm going to share my screen again. Teresa, if you can give me just a nod that you can see my screen. I just want to make sure everyone can see it. Yes, we can see it. Good. Here's our agenda. We're running a few minutes late, but that's okay. We gave ourselves a little bit of time. Each team will have 3 minutes to make the pitch, followed by a 5 minutes Q&A, and then we'll spend 1 minute transitioning from one speaker to the next. So we have 9 incredible teams, incredible ideas that will be shared. It's worth noting, I really should have highlighted this right up front. Shark Tank was a concept that was created to help unleash the entrepreneurship, the innovation potential across our middle schools and high schools. So as of in the last 6 months, thanks to the leaders that you're seeing here, we've engaged with about 125 students across 7 school districts. 70 business ideas came to light, 19 were shortlisted, and of those 19, 9 you will hear from today. So these are incredible ideas. But we didn't just stop at the high school. At the middle school level, we really wanted to make sure that our middle school students have a chance to learn about problem solving and just creative thinking. So we brought together students from 14 school districts, 108 students, and we can't thank our educators enough who really, we couldn't have done any of this without our educational leaders. So thank you, and a big round of applause to you. So we've touched the lives of several hundred students this year and hopefully given them some ideas on how they can pursue their dreams and ideas related to problem solving. So we're excited. These are the various businesses that we have lined up today, pitches. And so without further ado, we're going to begin. And if I may ask, our first entrepreneur from Osnaburg School District. The name of the business is Sweet Spot. And our entrepreneur is Andrew Layton. Andrew, if you can come online, I love it. And your 3 minutes have started, sir. We can't hear you, Andrew. We can't hear you. No, we can't hear you. That's okay. That's all good. Andrew, why don't we do this? Why don't you take a few minutes? Let's work through the technology. We'll just keep rolling. Let's go to our next business idea. We'll come right back to you, Andrew. Next up, we have from Plain Local, the business is Keep Watch. If you just give me a second, I'll get their presentation queued up here. Okay. Okay. Sharks, can you see the presentation? Okay, good. Aiden, you're up, sir.
Hi, I'm Aiden Begg, and I'm presenting for my team of Keep Watch. Good news, these mugshots are not a team picture, but the bad news is that all of these people attempted to lure in Stark County minors for sexual interactions. If these mugshots don't illustrate how big of a problem sex trafficking really is, the next slide will. Here we see 3 numbers. The first slide here is females under the age of 21 that were reported missing last year. The second number is the amount of time that passes between each abduction in the United States. The last number is the proportion of females that will be a victim of sexual assault in their lives. A problem of this magnitude is in dire need of a solution. Well, I'd like to take you to the next slide and introduce you to Keep Watch. Keep Watch does everything a normal smartwatch or fitness tracker does. Tracks steps, heart rate, and keeps the time. However, as seen on the next slide, this watch has one major feature that can save lives. The Keep Watch features a button on the side. Why is this important? Well, when setting up the Keep Watch, the user must input 5 emergency contacts. These 5 contacts will receive a text message with the user's exact location should the user feel in danger and press the button. If worse comes to worse, the exact same button can be held to alert the authorities and set off a powerful alarm to scare away attackers. While this product is a great concept, it doesn't matter if we have no one to sell to. If you go to the next slide, however, I'd like to introduce you to our target market. First, I would like you to meet Daryl. Daryl's a single dad. He's in his mid-30s and his children are his life. However, as kids age, they tend to be more independent, going to places like parks, football games, and the mall. Daryl wants to encourage us and allow his kids to have fun, while also ensuring their safety and security. Keep Watch is the product for him. The second person I'd like to introduce you to is Michaela. Michaela is a 21-year-old college student who has to walk to class. Michaela enjoys the physical activity. However, she wants to ensure her safety. Keep Watch is the product for her. I know what you're thinking. Aren't there other options that can ensure their safety? Well, yes, there are. If you go to the next slide here. However, all of these options come with at least one major downside. The first competitor we have are normal smartwatches. These work great. I own them myself. However, they simply do not save lives. The second competitor we have are self-defense products, such as tasers and pepper spray. These work at protecting yourself from attackers. However, they require training and can be a deadly mistake if defective or used wrong. The third competitor we have are apps such as Life360. These work great at keeping track of your friends or loved ones until you disable the app by simply powering down your phone. While these products are not as good as the Keep Watch, that does not mean they don't make money. As illustrated on the next slide, if we sold our product on Amazon for $70 with an estimated production cost of $22 a unit and only tapped into 1% of our potential market, we would be bringing in $30 million in revenue annually. This is clearly a huge market potential, but we still have one major problem, as illustrated on the next slide, the coronavirus. What seems like a major obstacle for us would actually be a great advertising opportunity. People are still exercising, going for walks, and going to the store. Only difference now, they are alone. With no friends to watch or protect them, the Keep Watch is the product for them. If you could go to the next slide, I'd like to leave you with a question of my own before opening up to your questions. With almost 7 people being abducted during the time it's going to take me to present this alone, would you really like to roll the dice that it couldn't be you, or would you rather have a Keep Watch? Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. That was very interesting. You're able to talk very quickly.
Thank you.
Got a lot in 3 minutes. just make sure I follow this. So what's the technology, or how is this watch going to be on the grid such that it is able to send the message off?
It would just be a GPS that keeps track of the location of the watch. And then the GPS location would be sent to your contacts.
Is that technology readily available? I mean, is that something we can tap into with such a device?
Yeah, that's in most, it's in phones, computers, it's in most electronic devices now.
Yeah, I'm just curious how it seems that there's going to be a lot of relationships that need created to make this thing something that will work in Texas or Hartville, Ohio. And another question, so if I'm following it right, person coming to abduct me, I need to hit my phone button somehow? Is that what the idea was? I need to get the signal emitted?
Yeah, so if let's say you just feel like you're in a sketchy part of town and you tap the button, it'll send your location to your contacts, and then they'll know where you are. And then if someone is actively attacking you, you can hold the button and an alarm will get set off, and then the police will be notified with your location.
I have a question, Ken.
Far away, Mark.
So can you do the same thing with a watch? So say you left your phone in the car and you're out and you start to jog around somewhere. Is the phone or the watch have a cell capability that doesn't require the phone, or is it they have to be together?
No, the watch is the product. The phone that was on the slideshow was an example of the text message your friends would receive or your emergency contacts would receive. So that's what they would be getting when you press the button.
Okay, so the watch itself then would have cell. It would be able to hook up to. It would have cell service that you would be paying for as well. And then I'm assuming that you're thinking that Wi-Fi would also have that capability if you were in an area that had hotspots that were readily available to everybody.
Correct. And communicating with the police, that runs on all phone carrier towers. So that doesn't need a specific phone service.
Okay, there you go. All right.
That's okay. That was where I was going. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. So there's like a special band that's available that you'd have to, I guess, arrange to be part of. So any thought as to how much it would cost to design and turn this product into production level?
Our team member, Chris, his mom is an engineer, and we got an estimated production cost of $22 a unit, but we still would have to do all the research and acquire a patent and all the things like that.
But and I get the per unit, but the big cost is somebody has to design this thing. It needs engineered, just the upfront, create the molds, create the whole backdrop to then hit the button and have something come off the assembly line for $22. Did you guys put any thought into what kind of costs you need to get the product in motion?
Yeah, we would need to obviously pay someone to develop the product in a way that it can make everything possible, make all the technology work together. And then we would also need an app developer for to link with the watch so that you can input your contacts.
Hey, Ken, can I have a question here? So
Yes.
Is the business about actually producing the device and becoming a device owner, manufacturer, or just the product with a utility patent where you're going to have a process that allows people to notify but go on any device? How have you thought about that?
No, this is it's the specific product. So we will be selling the Keep Watch because we don't want to just give the technology to other companies, because if we put this on an Apple Watch is still $350, and most Americans aren't able to spend $350 on a watch, especially when it's to ensure that their safety and make sure that they are secure. So we want to make sure it's accessible to as many Americans as possible.
Yeah, so I may have missed it in the slide. Did you have a price point on what you're selling the watch for, Nat?
Yes, we would sell it for around $70.
$70.
Sharks, we're going to wrap up at this point. Thank you so much. Thank you, Aiden. Can we have the rest
Nice
of your
job,
team?
Aiden.
Yeah, the rest of your team members just come online for a second, just so we can see who all was involved.
Nice job, guys.
Good job, you guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Take care. All right. We'd like to now invite our next presenter. It's Color Wall from Lake Local, and Angela Fisher will be presenting the business concept.
Hi, Sharks. I'm Angela Fisher, the CEO representing ColorWall. My team and I are so thankful for this opportunity to present a company we've loved bringing awareness to. To quickly remind you of our business, here at ColorWall, our mission is to connect individuals globally and in our community through self-expression. Most people in today's age lose connection with products and who or where makes them. The women you see here to your right hand make our tapestries through a fair trade certified process to ensure superior quality for our customers and a fair wage for the producers. Next slide, please. Here you see our product range originating in New Delhi, India. They're made of the highest quality recycled fabrics, and each piece is unique with assorted colors and embellishments. We offer a color your own tapestry all the way to the right, package designed by our very own graphic design students to further encourage creativity. It comes with 4 fabric markers and an informational card. Next slide, please. When applying for this competition, we were looking for an investment to take our marketing strategy to the next level. Because of the visual appeal of this product, people who see it were in awe and purchased it. But in order to expand, we needed to draw attention to our social media platforms and websites to draw sales through there. Fast forwarding, COVID-19 put a stunt in these plans like many other businesses. We were fortunate enough to have taken our inventory out of the school and still have it in possession. We took time to reevaluate our strategies and develop contingency plans. Our supply chain is a vital part to keeping our business in operation, and luckily during the beginning stages of our business, we did enough research to pick a supplier that met our needs. We have an extremely fast turnaround time of 2 to 3 business days because their warehouse is located in Pittsburgh, and they're only experiencing slight delays at this time, which is not an immediate threat. With a small purchase requirement, we can keep a low inventory and order as necessary so we can continually be allocating our resources effectively. Our business can be perfectly adapted to today's environment because of the increased home improvement and boredom we're seeing. We've marketed our color your own tapestries much more as a perfect craft to keep kids and families occupied, as you'll see here all the way to the left. We've encouraged our past customers to share photos with us of our products hanging in their homes so we can demonstrate the product in action. You'll see that here in the middle. And we've also done no contact delivery to homes for local orders and have had multiple sales with that method so far. Next slide, please. This year has been in close coordination with our partner Staffy, a local foster care system where we donate 1 color your own tapestry for every large one that's purchased. We're now looking towards the next steps of getting our remaining inventory sold, and we'd love to have you Sharks on board as well. Thank you.
Great job. Great job.
Thank
and
you.
Impressive that you've taken into consideration the current situation. It sounds like you've got sales already. Can you talk to me a little bit about what you've sold so far?
So far we have about $1,600 in revenue. About 120 has come in the past 2 weeks. So this has actually been helping our business in a way because the home improvement has been a big boost that we're seeing in the industry, as well as the boredom, and our products are perfect for that. But as far as other sales methods, in the past, we've gone to different sales events like craft shows in the mall, have made sales through there. We've done a lot of personal connection to our families and reached out to those people. And then we're part of Facebook fair trade groups where we post our specialized products in there because we're very involved with them.
Talk to me a little bit about your color your own thing. That's something different than what we saw in your previous pitch. So I'm curious about, is that something that they're drawing on fabric and they're putting that up, or is it on paper, or what is that? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
So the color your own tapestry is a 12 by 12 piece of cotton fabric. And the process that goes through is we get the fabric, our own students cut it. We use special scissors so that the edges aren't fraying. And then we have a graphic design student in the marketing program who designs each pattern uniquely. So they're super unique to us. And then we send outsource that for printing. We get those back and we package them with an informational card about fair trade and then 4 fabric markers. And those retail for $10.
Okay. Most of the pitches here today are about solving problems. Talk to us a little bit about the problem that you solve with your product or your service here.
So if I were to ask you right now, if you're in your living room or your office and you looked at the wall and you said, where is that picture frame from? Where is that table from? Where is the pen I'm holding from? And we noticed that a lot of people aren't recognizing where the products they're buying are coming from and what's going into that, because capitalism in today's world is making things fast and mass produced. We're losing that connection. So what we wanted to do is bring a real story into that and involve real people. So our tapestries are created in India, and they're handmade with recycled fabrics, and the embellishments and colors are all part of the artisan's choice. So what you get in the mail is it's essentially a story and a piece of art that you can say you know where it came from, and it's another story or conversation starter.
Okay.
Can I ask a question, Sue?
Yeah, go for it, Ken.
Angela, who would you say is your target market? How do you decide who you want to focus on for this product?
So when we launched our business, we sent out a survey and we got about 100 responses. And from those responses, we designated our target market to females ages 35 to 55. And we came to the conclusion that this was mainly because these would be the people with the ethical values that we're targeting. We also looked at like college students for dorms and things like that. But with the research found by the Fair Trade Federation, 1 in 3 people are more willing to pay for the Fair Trade certified brand seal. And those are the people we want, because you can go on Amazon and get a cheaper tapestry, but that's not exactly what we're trying to sell. So we're targeting those people who are caring more about our brand and our story, and they want to be part of this movement.
Hey, Angela, I have a question for you. I'm going to give you a chance to hit a home run here. I love the story. The last presenter talked about trying to stop violence and protect people. Give me the one sentence thing of what you hope to accomplish by making this a huge product and a huge brand.
What I want to do with this product is I want to bring people together as a unified front and bring out something beautiful across the globe in our own homes.
Okay, thanks.
Anything else from any of the sharks? Good job, Angela.
Yeah, great job.
Thank you.
Excellent presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. Can we have the rest of the Color World team just turn on their cameras for a second as well?
Good job, you guys.
Very cool. Thanks, everybody.
Good job.
All right. Moving right along. All right. Sorry about that. Try that again. Okay, next up we have the Vacu-Tree, and we will have Chloe tell us about her business concept. Let's make sure I'm all set up. Okay, Sharks, can you see this the PowerPoint? Okay, great. Chloe, you're up.
Alrighty. Hi, I'm Chloe Snyder, and I'm with the Vacu-Tree. And if we could just advance to the next slide, please. Alrighty, let's start with the problem. 81,180,000 artificial Christmas trees are displayed in the U.S. during one season. The problem is that finding proper tree storage is incredibly hard, and trees are so big, and if you're not careful, your trees will get ruined by water, mold, and dust. Let's break down the problem. Next slide. It's hard to find proper storage because we have a lack of storage innovation. And when taken out of storage, trees are covered in water, mold, and dust. And as you can see on the slide, mold causes serious health problems. So how do we solve this problem? Next slide. With the Vacu-Tree. The Vacu-Tree is a revolutionary artificial Christmas tree storage bag that combines standard storage and vacuum seal technology. It's super easy to use and has handles to help you carry the bag. Let's look at some of the key features of the Vacu-Tree. Next slide. As you can see, none of the competitors offer all the features the Vacu-Tree does. It is waterproof, uses vacuum technology, protection from dust and mold, and it only costs $19.99. The Vacu-Tree is also super easy to use. Next slide. Here's a picture of the prototype. As you can see, first fold all of your tree branches down. Next, place the bag over the tree and zip it up. Next slide. Then unscrew the cap and suck all of the air out with a vacuum. Finally, screw the cap back on and you're done. Let's look at the materials. Next slide, please. The bag is made out of 2 millimeter thick polyvinyl. The cap is made out of a one-way valve and a cap. The zipper is similar to the zipper on the zip-off bag. In total, it will cost about 19 cents to make. This means the profit margin for one Vacu-Tree is 99%. So what about COVID-19? Next slide. COVID-19 certainly impacts businesses. People are being forced to stay home, so no one is going to have the money to buy a new tree, but they may have $20 to protect their tree. People are also decorating for Christmas as a way to keep spirits up. On top of this, the Vacu-Tree keeps trees clean, which helps with allergies and preventing illnesses. And it can also be sold online. And speaking of selling, let's look at the target market. Next slide. My target market is fairly large. 99 million households in the US display at least one artificial Christmas tree during the season. My target market includes anyone who has bought a tree and people who don't want to deal with these problems. My target market is also increasing. Next slide. As you can see on the slide, we are buying more and more artificial trees. And there was a $2.5 million increase in the artificial tree market from 2017 to 2018. Next slide. The artificial tree market is worth $23.6 million. Even if I only captured 1% of this market, it would be worth $236,000. Then, so where could someone buy this? Next slide, please. As you can see, I would start at infomercials, then go to trade shows like the Christmas Connection event at the IX Center. I would also sell it online, and eventually I would go to big name stores. And as you can see, to advertise the Vacu-Tree, I would use a variety of methods. Next slide, please. So let's make packing your trees a total breeze with the Vacu-Tree.
Nice job, Chloe. You know, I had to smile. You called your market of 99 million fairly large. Most marketers would start salivating with a 99 million person market. So I'm curious, love the idea, it's very interesting. When we vacuum pack that tree, is it going to lose its form over over that year? It's plastic, and have you thought about that at all?
So it shouldn't lose its form because we're just like compressing it. And when you put the bag over the tree, you have already placed all of the branches so they're facing in one direction. So in theory, it should just make it smaller and tighter and easier to store. And then when you open it up, you'll be able to fluff the tree like normally.
And I apologize, you went through this slide really fast, so I know you said it. Tell me again how you intend to get this to market. What are your plans?
Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
So I know you had a slide. It was very fast, and I was writing a note. How do you intend to get this to market? In other words, how are you going to get those 99 million people to know about it?
So I intend to use like social media such as Facebook and Pinterest just to show I'll just put a little clip up of how to use the Vacu-Tree, and that would show people and get people interested. And then I would also use radio commercials, and I would put it in the weekly ads. Eventually, when I get to the big name stores, some of them do have weekly ads, and I would use those to advertise it as well.
And I asked the young man, Andrew, was it Andrew? The young man with the Keep Watch. Can't remember who that. I'm curious, how much do you think it's going to cost, the upfront cost, to just make the product, to have the thing ready for production? You thought about that at all? What kind of upfront investment that would take?
So to make the materials would actually cost about 19 cents. I'm still looking for a manufacturer and ways to manufacture it. I have talked to an engineer about it, but we're still looking for manufacturers and ways to make sure it would work. So I'm not 100% certain how much it would cost, but the materials themselves only cost 19 cents.
Yeah, I would be concerned. Again, there's upfront cost to create a process to have a repeatable result that produces a product at the back end. So I think that's an area that would need some more fleshing out.
Yeah, I'd like to jump in here, Ken, if I could. I'm sorry. Sorry, I cut you off, Chloe. Go ahead. We're going. You did a great job. I mean, you checked a lot of boxes as you're doing that, so you should feel very proud. My question is, there's so many different types of artificial Christmas trees, and I'm I'm the abnormal artificial Christmas tree guy, and if my kids are watching this on YouTube Live right now, they are laughing, because they understand. The range of trees and the different types of artificial branches and the sizes and things, do you think that's going to present a problem for being able to vacuum down, or are you marketing a particular market of a specific tree that to vacuum pack down?
So I would actually make different sizes of vacuum bags for like different sizes of trees. So the one, the material prices and everything you saw, that was for a standard 7.5 foot tree. That's just the standard that most Americans have. But like as trees get bigger, we would obviously have to adjust for that in the different widths of the base. I don't think it'll present a problem with the vacuum seal, just because the bag, it would be more enlarged form of the 7.5 foot bag.
Yeah.
Chloe, how did you come up with your price point? It seemed like it was fairly cheap compared to the competitors.
So I was actually looking at the competitors for like different prices just to see what they were. And I was talking to a few people and surveying them about like, what kind of price point they would like. When I came up with the $19.99, that was after looking at all the competitors, and some of them were very expensive, and then some of them were only like $13 and they were super cheap. And I wanted to give people something that they could use and afford, and it would save them money in the long run because they wouldn't have to buy a new tree. So I came up with $19.99 after configuring all the like material costs and everything, and then I talked to a few people about it as well.
Okay.
Chloe, that was very thoughtful and well done. And
you.
kudos to your team.
Yeah.
And I loved your first ad where you showed somebody wrestling with a tree or something. I can't remember the.
Any other questions, Sharks? All right, Chloe, thank you so much for it. Before you hang up, I just want to take a quick screenshot. Thank you, Chloe.
Thank you.
All right. Next up, we have XCM Innovations. I'll just queue up their presentation really quick. All right, Madeline, welcome. The floor is all yours.
Okay. Hi, I'm Madeline from XCM. I'm Madeline from XCM Innovators, and my other two teammates are Cortland and Zenon. Our product is SAFER, which stands for Safety Arrow for Emergency Responders. Next slide, please. From January to April 2019, 17 first responders nationwide were killed by distracted drivers at night. This is due to the moth effect. When a first responder pulls someone over or responds to an accident, they're required to have their lights on top of the car on and flashing to warn drivers. Instead, these lights are drawing drivers in, similar to when a moth gets drawn into your light in your home. This causes drivers to swerve towards the light and hit the first responder's vehicle, and even the first responders themselves. Currently, the best practice for the safety for first responders in this situation is putting up cones or flares around the area. In an interview with a Canton police officer and traffic incident management instructor, we learned that these practices can be dangerous if not executed properly. First responders are also able to buy their own personal protective equipment, such as safety vests or products like the Guardian Angel. But these have flaws, and we have not been able to find a device that encompasses all of the safety concerns and setup. Next slide. Our products would be a series of projectors that are mounted underneath the car. A switch would be wired inside of the car to control the device. These projectors would project arrows onto the ground approximately 5 feet from the edge of the first responder's car. These arrows will point the driver in a safe direction and will focus the driver's attention onto the road. They will also give the first responder room to work around their car with less worry of it being hit on duty. The final device will be able to change angles to adjust the throw of the arrow for different vehicles. Next slide, please. These are two pictures of our first 3D printed prototype. The two pieces fit together snugly and are held together with screws. There are slots for the lens and for the slide with the green arrow. The lighting source would come from behind the green arrow. On the side of the device, there are 3 holes centered around a single hole. These holes allow the device to be able to move up and down to adjust the throw of the arrow for distance. Next slide, please. This is an exploded view of our prototype. It shows all of the necessary parts to our device and how it comes together as a whole. Our device would make driving at night much more safe for the driver and the first responders. It will take much less time than setting up cones or flares, and it will be way easier to provide room for the first responders to make the world a little more safer. Any questions?
No, great, Madeline. I think it's a great idea. I think in today's day and age, when we're all more aware of first responders and what they're doing, whether it's police, fire, EMS, or the clinicians on the front line with COVID, it's really nice to know that people are thinking about how to make them safer. Let me ask you a few questions, and they're really around feasibility. The idea of this works at night. Do you know, have you looked into the percentage of stops that occur at night versus day? Because how would this work in the daylight?
Well, our product is mostly for the nighttime because that's when most of the accidents are happening. And because the light is drawing people in, like during the daytime, you know, it's pretty light out. So the light doesn't really distract people because it doesn't really show up as well during the nighttime.
All right, so you're trying to avoid that moth effect. The other question I have is, you know, with those lights pointing on the ground, at what distance? Because the biggest problem that people have is the distance and the time to react. So if someone's on an expressway going 60 miles an hour and the light's on the ground and they don't see it, and will it give them enough time to react? Have you thought about the feasibility of how the product would work?
Yeah, so unfortunately, like we had our 3D printed prototype and we're about to start the testing phase with all that kind of stuff. And, you know, and COVID hit. And so we haven't really looked at that and looked at how far it needs to be away. We were thinking like at least 5 feet to give the officer or the first responder enough room to work around the car. But that might not be enough room, especially for the back arrow. It might need to be pushed out a little bit further so that it gives people more time to react.
Yeah, I love the idea. I'll allow some of the other sharks to jump in, but I'll tell you the thing that you really need to focus on as you take this product farther, whether you win here or lose, and no one loses, whether you win here or just participate, I guess, is the fact that think about cars and at 60 miles per hour, how much reaction time do they need to see the arrow and avoid the accident? Because that's what happens. It's sometimes loss of control, which no notification device will help you. But if it's not loss of control and it's just missing it or seeing it, they need time to react. So I think 5 feet is nowhere near, you know, to be able to see it from a distance and react. Think about that as you go further with the product. Anyone else want to add a question?
Yeah, I was just going to add to that. There is a standard for setting those cones up behind that the safety officers and have to set them up. That's in their guidelines. So I would make sure you at a minimum comply to that guideline. I agree with Dom. You guys really found an idea and a product that is modern for today's technology and today's society, to get out there and do something that is completely unique. And it also gives you the ability to change messages or change things in the future as you extrapolate down through that. But the big thing here is the distance, and that's the big concern with it, is being able to throw that. You know, I think that furthest cone, if my recollection is from my old days as a CDL driver, I think it's almost 200 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And it has to be back. So
Madeline, I'm curious. Go ahead. You talk. Go ahead.
So we are, like I mentioned, we are working with like the officers and a Tim's instructor, which he teaches that, you know, that class on how to properly set up the cones, how to take them away. And our product is hopefully going to kind of replace the cones, because there are dangers in setting up the cones and taking them away. And we'd want to work closely with the, you know, fire department, the police department. So that's one of our.
Oh,
concerns.
I think it's a really good, it needs some work here on those distances, but it's a good idea because that is a great point. The officers and everybody have to walk out to set those cones, which there's no safety device for them there, and they have to walk into traffic to do that. So I think you guys are on the cusp here of having something pretty special. I love the engineering work and the 3D modeling and the 3D printing too. That's
I love
my
that.
heart.
Somebody did some cool work there.
So
Did you have another question? I'm sorry if I cut you off.
No, I'm good. I'm good. I think like I said, I think it's a great idea. It's a great product, and it's needed because there's thousands of deaths roadside on an annual basis. And we hear about them if they're local, but they're happening all over the country. So thanks for thinking about and trying to solve an important problem.
Thank you.
Thanks, Madeline. Can we have the rest of your team hop on as well?
Good
nice
job,
job, guys.
Good job.
Well done.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Who did the engineering drawing?
Thank you.
We all kind of worked on it as a whole. So like I did a lot of the 3D modeling on Inventor, and then we had Xenon working on the patents and all the patent search and everything, and then Madeline did a lot of the research. So we all kind of worked on it together. So
It's nice. Good job, Court.
You going to school to be an engineer, Cortland?
yes, sir. Liberty University to study mechanical engineering.
Okay. Make sure you give me a call. Give me a call.
Will
Get
do.
a year under your belt. Give me a call because we use Autodesk Inventor around here. I can use one or two
Use my
more guys that can do that.
Cortland, I'll represent you before you sign a contract. So just talk to me first.
No.
All right, let's go.
Very cool.
All right,
All right,
thank you,
thanks,
guys.
team. Nice job. Very good. Mark, ABC never stop always be closing. Very cool. All right, next up we have Screen Break, and Pedro is going to be speaking to us. They're a team from North Canton City Local. Pedro, welcome. And can you all see my screen? Yeah, okay, great.
Yes.
Pedro, you're on, sir.
The average American spends 5 hours on their phone every single day. Next slide, please. This causes a lack of sleep, which means Americans are missing out on an important period of rest and regeneration that has detrimental effects on physical health. Additionally, screens have replaced face-to-face communication. People are inadvertently putting more importance on their phones than their relationships and even their mental health. Excess screen time is a universal issue that affects students, employees, moms, and dads. It affects us all. Finding a solution to a problem as large as phone addiction seemed impossible. Eventually, we came upon the concept of a 21-day challenge to break bad phone habits, because we did extensive research to find that a habit can be broken in 21 days. Unfortunately, we had no idea how to format it. We thought of a calendar or a notebook, and even something a little bit in between. Nothing really stood out to us until our Chief Technology Officer, McKenna Chorak, committed 4 hours of her free time to the development of our prototype. This allowed us to visualize the final product, which we now produce with our manufacturing partner, Standard Printing. Each Screen Break box has a set of 21 cards that detail a different challenge for reducing screen time. For example, one card is Sleep Separate, which challenges users to charge their phone in a different room from where they sleep. After completing one challenge each day for 21 days, users will be able to break their bad habits and reduce their excess screen time. Next slide, please. In the last 6 months, we have sold over 350 Screen Break boxes and generated almost $7,000 in revenue. This accomplishment was the result of a variety of sales methods, including business-to-business, door-to-door, and even online sales through our website. Of these sales, we were able to donate 10% of our profits to the North Canton Cares Pantry to help feed the less fortunate during these unprecedented times. Next slide, please. One of the features that makes our product stand out is the QR code on the side of the box. It links our customers to a survey in which they tell us their starting and ending screen times. This has allowed us to collect data that shows an average drop of 2 hours and 25 minutes in screen time. We love to hear from our customers, and we all feel gratification knowing that we are making a difference in people's lives. They are not alone, though. Each member of Screen Break took the challenge as well, and the drop in screen time has made an impact on all of our lives. We want to share this experience with others. That is why we challenge everyone to take the Screen Break challenge and break away today.
Pedro, did we miss a slide for you? Is that what happened?
Yeah, you skipped a few, but it's fine.
There we go. Is this the one that you?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one in the problem slide, but it shouldn't affect the presentation too much.
No,
Sorry
you did
about that.
fine. You did the number one rule. Just keep going. You did a great
Good.
job.
Yeah.
That was user error on my part, Sharks. My apologies. All right. And are you guys completed?
Yeah.
Yep.
Very good.
Great job. Love the data and the data portion of this too, that you actually have data that shows that what you did worked, which is often what's hard from creating something out of concept. So can you talk a little bit about your sales? You've made these sales. Who have been your biggest buyers?
Our biggest buyers have been door-to-door customers. So I have the box right here. So basically we have standard printing that makes our boxes, and then we go to door selling them. But we've also sold business to business to companies like Synchrony Financial, and even a local or veterinarian. So that's where a lot of our revenues come from.
You sold to mostly teens, or like who's your target market when you say it's everybody? But I mean, of those buyers, who's your biggest audience?
Yeah, for the business to business, our target market is the employers because they can reduce their healthcare and their insurance costs with the Screen Break challenge because of all the benefits of better physical and mental health. And then for door-to-door clients, it's mostly parents who like to purchase the product for their teenagers because we conducted a survey in the early stages of the product development, and we found that teenagers were the ones spending the most time on their phones, but they also aren't willing to give that up. And so their parents are actually the ones buying it for their children and kind of having a local or a competition in the household among themselves.
Okay. How about how this has happened during COVID? Has that helped you or hurt you during this time? Because we've been moved into a different kind of space right now.
It's been tough. We have 8 company members, including myself, and that's been tough to meet. But we do Zoom calls like this. We have Google Docs that we can share different stuff that we're working on with each other. And we still have our website, and we have all of our products still. So we're able to receive orders on our website, and then we ship them out using a service called pirate shipping, which basically searches the internet for coupons to print our own shipping labels. And then we just put that on a bubble mailer, put the box inside, and take it to a UPS store. And for as far as the COVID goes for our customer and our target market, I think it's really making people aware of how much time they spend on their phone, especially now. And a lot of people are taking for granted all of the things they used to be able to do outside with their friends and family. And so I think it's definitely moving forward. Once we get past all of this, a lot of people will definitely look into something like our product.
Good. Dominic has a question for you.
Yeah. Hey, Pedro, I love the product. What adult doesn't want to get their kids off their phone, cut it down to 4 hours from 6 hours? I have actually 2 questions. One is, how do you protect from the same person, a family buying it and using it for each person? Because I'm thinking about the ability to sell multiple kits to a family. And the second question is, if you got a bunch of money, if someone said, here's a bunch of money, what would you do with it? And how would that accelerate your business?
Yeah, so for the first question, we actually encourage families to buy one per family. You don't necessarily need one for every member of the family. It's basically a box, and it comes with all these different cards, and you can display them. We even included a magnet with our logo on it that you can put the card on the refrigerator. And that's actually an incentive for the families to complete the challenge, because, if your mom says, "Oh, I bet I can get my screen time lower than you," you'll definitely feel more motivated to have a little friendly competition there. And if we were to receive additional financial support, we would put a lot of it into developing marketing materials, such as a commercial, which we've already started working on, touch up our website even more. And we've even experimented with targeted ads on Facebook, on our Facebook page. And then additionally, we would invest in additional marketing materials on Instagram.
Can I ask
Great.
questions?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, good.
Pedro, I'm curious, have you done any follow-up how much use the product's gotten once the people get it in their house? You get any great stories to share?
Our survey with the QR code, we wanted to keep it simple. So you just scan it with your camera. You don't need a special app or anything. But once you get to the survey, it's just your starting screen time, your ending screen time. You can input the number of challenges that you actually completed, because some of the challenges are tougher than others. So we wanted to see, of the people that are meeting their goals, which is another one of the questions on the survey, we wanted to see, are those people actually completing all the challenges, or are they kind of puttering out towards the end? So we do get that data of how many challenges they're completing, and we encourage those people to take the challenge again and try and get through all the challenges, because the product works best when done in sequence.
What's your data show you? Well, how many?
Our
what
data
percent of
shows us.
people completed? Go ahead.
It was on the one slide. If you want to go back to that one, I believe it was 72% of people meet their goal. So that's really what we're looking for. We just want people to get their screen time down. But the data shows us that of the people that do complete 16 to 21 of the challenges, those people generally do meet their goal and reduce their screen time.
Whoops.
Great.
Okay.
Hey, Pedro, I think you and your team did a tremendous job. I mean, it was great research. It was well articulated. It solved a problem. I'm just a technology guy, so I encourage the use of technology. So this isn't for me, but I think you guys knocked it out of the park as far as you set your goal, your vision, you developed and you solved the problem. You got data and statistics and really showed some high level skills here on your presentation and your business and getting out and about and selling it. And I think you guys did a tremendous job. So well done. Well done.
Thank you. And just to comment on that, we do understand that technology is a utility. I mean, obviously, look what we're doing right now. We're using technology to communicate, even though we're all isolated. But what we're focused on is just reducing the excess screen time. You know, the time you spend watching Netflix for 2 hours before you go to bed, even though you should probably go to bed and get a good night's rest. So that's really what we're focused on there.
Right. Well done. Well done.
Thank you.
That's good.
Can we have the rest of your team join us for a quick thank you?
Good job, you guys. Excellent
Good job.
job.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, well done.
All right. Next up, we have Shots Fantastic from Austinburg Local, and Jagger is going to be walking us through his presentation. 1 second.
All right, hello, can you hear me?
We can, yes.
All right. All right.
All right, can everyone see the screen? Excellent. Jagger, the screen's yours.
All right, I'm Jagger Simmons, and I've been working on this for a while now. And my product is an app for basketball players. So, you know, in the world of basketball, making shots is everything. And with my love of the game and my ever-advancing knowledge of the computers, sensors, and statistics, I'm developing an app that will use your stock iPhone camera to track the path of the shot. This will be able to give you very basic feedback of makes and misses, along with profound responses on tips of how you can fix the rotation, the path, and the arc of your shot. Our overall goal is to help our users get better at the game of basketball. We will show them tips and corrections on their shots that will give them their direct and immediate feedback. This will help our users see results early and often, which is good for business as it brings them back and wants them to keep improving. Some key customers It's estimated that 450 million people play the game of basketball, which is a pretty big number, but we're looking at the 10.2 million that play in grades 8 and under in the youth leagues, and then the 5.8 million that play in high school or college. Those are really our key customers that will be buying this app because they have easily accessible smartphones and are willing to work on their game. And then once our customers buy the free app, it will be up to how much they use it to determine how much money will be made from our ads, which is why we envision Shots Fantastic to be an app that most of our users will spend at least 30 minutes a day on. Together with tracking a shot, another pathway this project could go is to add goals within the app that will track your progress to, say, a 500 shots a day goal. But wait, there's more. Shots Fantastic will not only be a training app, but also feature where you can see the local gyms and courts, basically on a map. And if you're planning to go play basketball that day, you want to get a 5-on-5 with your buddies, you check in, and then your buddies will be able to see that you checked in, or people you don't even know. And it bridges the link between the communication that we're lacking. Most people just want to play some basketball. My plan for Shots Fantastic is to deploy my marketing team to shred exposure in comparison to these expensive camps that parents hate spending hundreds of dollars on in countless hours. This free app paid for by ads can make someone shoot like Stephen Curry. All right, you can switch the slide, please. This is our goals. This is a chart that I just made up here. And then this isn't limited either. We could build Shots Fantastic to cater to other sports like volleyball just to start because of the similar motion in the balls between movements of sports. And then not only that, but hockey and soccer are wide open for this market, which brings me to my favorite part. My idea for some footwork marketing would be to print out flyers with QR codes to scan, and it's no hassle, give the people what they want. They can download the app very easily. And then the next phase in the marketing plan will be on social media. Nothing you probably don't already know, but social media is saturated with these mediocre accounts that makes it hard to put real stuff out there and market real things. But with my knowledge of colors and what people like to see, I plan to capture at least a couple hundred people's attention with online marketing through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. And then some key partners I would have would be advertising companies later on down the road, and then basketball brands I would like to sponsor, and then the coding company Velvetech, which I've been in contact with some of their reps, and that would be the best option for me to code my app. And you can go on the next slide, and then that's it.
All right. Is that it, Jagger?
Yeah, that's it.
Very good. Thank you.
All right, Jagger, nice job, nice presentation, and we got to see as the process was going through this whole few months here for us. There was a quote that you had in your presentation that we got to see ahead of time that said you can never replace putting up shots in your own hometown gym, and I just thought that was brilliant. And when I heard that, I like this product. I thought it was a good idea. And the fact that there's a lot of that stuff for the golf industry out there right now. There's a lot of apps, there's a lot of things to help people, and so that they can work by themselves. And I like the add-ons since we had those first reviews. I like the add-ons that you had for being able to search for pickup basketball and different things like that. So I think that was a well value add feature that you put on it. Now, my question for you on the technology of this is your intent for your app to work with a third-party device like a gimbal or something to track the ball, or fully use the camera itself?
That was something that's still not been decided on what would be the best option for that. But I went ahead and just made the executive decision that we were going to try to use the iPhone camera, and that's what we've been working towards. But
okay.
if we have another standalone camera, that could work out too.
Okay, all right. And in a little bit, I mean, the iPhone camera does have that capability, but it takes a lot of additional, software development or AI type features to put that together. To analyze the frames per second in the film. So there's a lot of high-end mathematics and a lot of high-end investment that's going to take. So you threw up a slide there that you were talking about 171,000. I'm not so sure that's going to be the right number for that. I think it's
Oh
gonna,
yeah,
it could
well, app development it can really take off. And if my app goes #1 on the charts, I mean, that's the amount of money that I'd be able to put into the app. But just to get it started off, the 1,200 to the 5,000, that's the number that I would be talking about.
So how are you planning on selling this product? Is it software as a service, like an annual subscription fee,
It would be
how?
just an app on your phone that you would
Okay.
download and you would use, and then the ads on the app that the viewers get to see, that's how I would make the revenue from the app.
Okay. And do you think you'll get enough from the ads, or will it be problematic for people trying to use it because the ads will be popping up? Do you think it'll
No, I don't
slow the technology down?
I don't think it'll slow the technology down. They have banner ads that really don't take up most of the screen that aren't too harmful to your usage of the app.
Okay. Anybody else got a question they want to pop in? Because I got a couple more, but go ahead. If somebody else.
Well, just a quick question. Any thought to a way to somehow create a subscription concept here that is there? It's always nice to, when you get a
subscription, I mean, so you have reoccurring revenue every month. That would be nice, but we would have to make something that people really like for that to happen. We would have to give them maybe the subscription to the communication part that I was talking about, linking with the gyms. That could work into that.
When you're looking for what it's worth, when you're looking for investors, recurring revenue is music to their ears.
Yes. Yeah. Now I'm going to tell you, you have hit a home run with this, because Mark Cuban has invested in a technology called Home Court with Steve Nash and Jeremy Lin. Have you looked at that app?
Yeah, I've looked at
that. Is
that
doing
app.
It's doing the analytics that you're trying to do right now.
Mm-hmm.
But you added to it. You put value add. I'm thinking you could take your idea to Mark Cuban right now and then get him to add all of the additional things that you had added on here. So I would highly recommend reaching out to him, because they've got an app, they've got the AI technology, they've got everything in place, and it's $7.99 monthly, and it's $69.99 yearly for it. And it measures release angle, speed, leg angle, release time, release height of the ball, whether you make or miss it and wear out on the court. And they set it up on a tripod at half court. So you nail it. I mean, your idea is money, but Mark Cuban's beat you to it right out of the gate here. But you have add-on that he may not be thinking about, so you might have a shot here. So I would reach out to him immediately, and hopefully he's watching his YouTube channel right now. So.
Yeah, right.
But anyway.
Any other questions, Mark?
I'm good. Anybody else?
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jagger. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Jagger.
Nice
Good
job,
thinking,
Jagger.
man.
Hey, did you play in high? Oh, I'm gonna say, all right, forget it.
Oh, I can. I'm still here.
Did you play for your school in high school?
Yeah, I did play a little bit of basketball. Wasn't the best, but I got in there.
Good for you. Good for you.
All right. Next up, we have John Haynes with Plain Local, and his concept is the Easy Tray. Before we start, I just want to, I know we've been going back to back here. Sharks, are you interested in taking a 3-minute break? Would that be helpful? No.
Just keep it going.
Keep it going. All right. Very good. John, you on? Great.
Yep.
Everyone can see the slides? Perfect. All right, John, you're on.
All right, so you've seen it before. You're out at dinner and you hear a loud crash just to turn around and see broken dishes and food everywhere. Next slide. So why is this a problem? It can lead to things such as health risks, while injuries from falling, customer service issues. You know, you spill red wine on somebody's nice white dress shirt, you're gonna have problems. And it can also lead to revenue loss. You know, food need to be prepared again, and then you also have broken glass and dishes. Next slide, please. So my solution is called the Easy Tray. It's an innovative tray that allows servers to serve efficiently without the drawbacks of the traditional serving tray. Next slide. So the concept, basically there are small holes underneath a tray made for your fingertips that are similar to a bowling ball. It allows for more even weight distribution. This allows for a better grip opposed to just using your palm, and it teaches correct hand position while holding the tray and reduces joint pain. The additional tray thickness allows for even more support And as you can see, after getting in contact with the local mechanical engineer, we got a couple CAD drawings drawn up to visualize the tray. Next slide. So as far as the market opportunity, there are over 600,000 restaurants in the United States as of 2018. $480 is spent on serving trays alone in each restaurant, making the total market value over $300 million. And if we were able to get just 1% of that market share, it'd be over $3 million. As far as manufacturing, it'll be around $2 to manufacture the product and $18 to sell with a $16 profit. Next slide. All right, so our plan is to build demand initially with the local restaurants. We're going to sample out some easy trays to local restaurants to build a reputation for ourselves. After we get that reputation kind of going and get them familiar with the product, then we'll reach out to wholesalers. And then after that, we're going to expand even further and reach out beyond restaurants, third-party catering services, churches, hotels, anywhere where you're going to be serving food. Next slide. So as far as the coronavirus, during this unfortunate outbreak, restaurant owners are stuck at home, unable to operate their business. So this will allow an opportunity for me to present my idea to restaurant owners. Efficiency is money, and cutting costs, especially now, would be more than necessary. As soon as restaurants begin to reopen, many will begin to eat out again, and restaurants will be flooded and demand will spike. Taking advantage of the Easy Tray now would prove beneficial more than ever. Next slide. So let's make serving easy with the Easy Tray.
So John, good presentation. Really, it is interesting and something that obviously is a problem that could be used. I have got a couple questions about the product and some of your research that you've done already. So you put in there numbers about how many restaurants. Did you identify or look into how many restaurants are actually still performing tray service versus swarm service versus white tablecloth service?
So we look at average restaurants. Like I said, there was about 660,000 restaurants in the United States. We're looking at restaurants that will serve, food and drink on a tray. As far as how many of those are, I would assume it'd be a pretty large number. Even if that number was smaller, or even a third of that weren't tray services, you're still looking at a pretty large market value, and just 1% of that would be pretty large.
Are the trays stackable? So when one of the number one places tray services used is banquet halls, long areas to carry the stuff, covered dishes that stack on top, and they can serve 10 at a time. Are these going to be stackable on top of each other?
Yes. So initially, the initial idea was to have a tray with almost like a handle on the bottom, and obviously you run into problems there. You can't stack the trays. So if you looked at the anatomy of the tray in the CAD drawing, there's actually holes at the bottom made underneath the tray. So there's nothing actually protruding out of the bottom. It's actually stacked up in. So in theory, yes, the stackable trays would be, and I looked at it as a necessity. You got to be able to stack these trays to store them. So yes, they would be stackable.
Did you look at different sizes of trays? I mean, I don't know how much research you did, but primarily banquet halls and tray service restaurants. But what a lot of restaurants use is for drinks. That's really what they serve on trays, because typically, if you've been to a restaurant, a lot of places will bring out food. People will come with 2 plates each and serve everyone at the same time. So is this different sizes, or is this just one size you're looking at?
I mean, you could easily change the size. You could have multiple sizes. Standard, I think, is about 12-inch foot diameter. All we're really changing is the thickness of the tray, and then you have the initial holes at the bottom. You could have, a 6-inch tray with the holes, and you'd have a lot more control. And then you could also have, a 24-inch, and if you still have those holes, you have that balance. So, I mean, if you could hold it with your palm, it'd be much easier to, have. The analogy was like a bowling ball. You have that better grip, and you also have a larger tray. So it could the size could vary. Yeah.
Okay, one more question, then I'll open it up. A couple of the products that we've seen here today are already in production, already in sales. This is a concept, no production, no sales yet.
We've had prototypes to look at. There's been no manufacturing besides the CAD drawing. We do not have a physical product, just prototypes. But with investments and everything and money getting going, we would start manufacturing before sampling out the trays. Yes.
And did you identify any competitors that are out there already?
So competitors would be just regular serving trays. You have top competitors, at restaurant supply wholesalers. Food Star Service is one where they sell their trays for around $16. for a 12-inch, and they're selling in bulk, so that price could, decrease the more you buy. But there are competitors. As far as, innovations, there's no really other tray besides, you have the flat, just traditional trays. So there's nothing like holes or additional thickness, nothing like that. No.
Okay, I'm good unless someone else has questions.
Quick question. You asked half of my question, but the other half was, I was just curious, did you talk to many restaurateurs about this product and get feedback and ideas?
I interviewed, I think we actually might have skipped a slide, but I interviewed just about under 30 restaurant workers. I talked about, I actually have a phone up right here. I asked if any of them had ever dropped trays during, while they were working in restaurants, and about every single one of them had admitted to dropping trays, due to joint pain, and 84% of them had experienced wrist pain. So yeah, this one right here.
Well,
and I talked about, I haven't talked to restaurant owners specifically, but I talked to the workers that would use the product, and they had said, this would be a great idea. But as I said in the coronavirus slide, now would be a great time to reach out to owners since, they're stuck at home, not operating any business.
well, and John, hats off to you. Some of the best solutions are just simple. And I think you've very clever thinking, easy solution to a significant problem. So well done. Okay. It would have been interesting. I find it's really interesting to really dig into the actual users and get their feedback. And it's a bummer you couldn't have had a prototype that somebody could have just played around with.
Yeah. And that's the plan, is to, sample out. Yeah.
Sue, do you have a question?
You're
muted though. We knew one of us would do it.
It was me. I have a question. So what was the passion behind this? I mean, one of you servers and you were like, we had that problem, or was so it's interesting how the group comes up with their concept, but why this product?
So my sister, she just graduated college a few years ago. She didn't go to Walsh, but she worked at Walsh in the catering services. And she had told me about, she'd come home after a day and say, I dropped this tray, glasses everywhere. And, I ruined a whole table's, dinner or meal. And I thought, this would be a great idea. It's obviously a problem, and she's not the only one experiencing it. She told me her friends are experiencing the same problem. And, when you're saving, or when you're spending more money, you have dishes breaking, you have to buy more glasses, buy more, this and that. Food, you're gonna have to prepare it again. You would eventually, or you'd actually be saving money if you invested in the initial easy tray, because you're gonna have, you're gonna be saving money with the efficiency that it allows.
So my other question was going to be, how are you going to talk business owners into changing trays at a time when they're not spending any money? How are you going to get them to, they're not buying new ones. I don't know how often you recycle your trays, but to say, no, you really need this instead of what you have. How are you going to talk them into to switching out what they already have?
So when you it's obviously going to be an issue. People aren't going to want to change, especially restaurant owners, and they already have a supply and inventory. They're not going to change. So my plan was to sample out the trays, get them familiar with it, get them using it, and then for themselves they can decide, this is actually going to be, this actually is much more comfortable. There's not as much wrist pain, joint pain, and you show them the numbers. You're going to be saving money in the long run. It's going to take a few months, pay off that initial investment you're going to make in new trays. But I mean, you're going to be saving money when you're not tripping and falling and breaking dishes.
Is your tray lighter than the trays that they're using, or are you doing?
It would be a little, not much heavier, probably not even a pound heavier. It's just the thickness would be the only thing that would increase the weight, and that just allows for more weight distribution around the whole tray. More center of gravity where you're holding the actual tray.
Yeah, and if you could make it out of maybe some kind of antiviral material or something like that, then that would be something that's a high touch surface that could mitigate viruses and things like that. And if you're not spilling product, it's going to return pretty quick, with it. So that's a potential change of direction there a little bit with it. So
John, I like the product. I like the product. There's definitely products out there. You need to do a little bit more research that have hand straps and ways to hold trays. There's nothing out there that is molded that I've seen or know. I know some people in the restaurant business. So it's a good product. You need to think about what is your target audience, which type of restaurants actually still do tray service. And it might be banquet halls more than restaurants. And the last thing I can tell you is the most common use for trays in the restaurant industry is drinks, beverages, because you're not going to have 6 people come out to deliver 6 drinks, but you will have them to deliver 6 dinners at the same time. So think about that as you go forward with the product, about how you can adapt it for tray, and then you have an opportunity to use it at bars as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sharks. We're gonna transition to our second to last presenter. John, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate it.
Nice job.
Our second to last presenter is Mason Kane. He's with Osnaburg Local. The name of his idea is Canine Shield. Mason, go ahead. And I don't believe you have a presentation, so you're on, sir.
Nope, I don't. Okay. Hello, Sharks. My name is Mason Kane, and I am the developer of Canine Shield. Now, before we begin, I have a question, just to raise hands. How many of you own a dog? Okay, well, that's fine. But as you know, when you buy a dog, you have a very special bond with them. So the police force, which this product was made for, they develop a different type of bond than you do with your dog. They build a much deeper relationship and a stronger bond with them. The entire thing that this product was arranged for was to keep them safe from gunshot wounds. Now, I spoke with 2 officers actually. One was Officer Humt, who had a dog named Chase, which was the original person I was supposed to talk to. A second officer on duty, I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I wasn't actually expecting him to be there, but they both gave me really great insight and said that the main benefiters of this project would be those that sniff dogs that sniff out bombs or sniff out people that have potential uses of firearms on them that they don't know of. So the product was designed to keep them from being killed. Now, eventually, but will not help me because she wants to be afraid of you. But the idea was it would wrap around the neck area and down towards the chest. That's where it was supposed to be protected, because the normal dog vests protect from the shoulders back. Nothing protects the upper area of the dog. I did get it tested. I do have it next to me. I will show it off here in a minute. But it does work, and I had it tested by our school resource officer, Dan Yeager. The advice, everything we need to do, and after getting tested, me and him talked for a bit, and we decided to take this project a bit further and make one that's even stronger. So I am currently in the process of making one that's a bit stronger. I have yet to get it tested, but other than that, it's a finished product. It does work, and that's where it's at right now. The projected people, the people that's supposed to affect is the police force, mainly the canine units. And eventually, if I do make it strong enough, I would like to see if anybody in the military, they do have their own service dogs, want to sniff out this organization, because they put their lives on the line more than the police officers here do. The product itself didn't cost that much to make. It took around $60 to create, and it was a very simple process. The materials used shall be I will not disclose them, as for obvious reasons of it's not patented yet. But this project, I've been working on it for about 2 years now, and it's been a very tough stretch alone. And eventually, I hope to be able to mass produce it. And hopefully one day I can
Mason, I think we're having a little bit of connectivity issue with your line, so we'll just keep flowing along. I believe Ken, you're the lead Q&A person. Go ahead, sir.
Mason, is there anything you wanted to add? I got some questions for you.
No, that's about it. So what would you like to know?
Well, I just compliment very creative idea. I think it's a heartwarming. In other words, I think a lot of people would find this a really cool, noble pursuit of a product. One thing that strikes me, again, maybe this is just our dogs. What about overheating? Isn't it kind of important how they breathe? And when I saw your video that you showed us, one thing that struck me is this just going to be too cumbersome for a dog to be wearing all day long?
Okay. So what this is meant to be its own piece. So it can be taken on and taken off at will. It's meant to attach to the vest that the dog already have. It's not meant to be just permanently there on the vest with them. It's supposed to be its own separate thing that can be taken off whenever the officer needs it to be taken off.
But for the time period that he would wear it, you feel comfortable that the dog would be safe and that it wouldn't cause. What's it made out of? And I mean, because if it's bulletproof, it can't be light.
Surprisingly, it is light. If you can figure out what this is, this is just one of the pieces that we've used. This is one of the products that it was created with. It's actually surprisingly light. It doesn't slow the dog down at all. It is for it being bulletproof and still being light. That is where the kicker is that most people wouldn't believe.
Great. So give me an idea of the weight. What kind of weight are we talking that the dog would have on it?
The weight that it provides, I'd probably say around 2, maybe 3 pounds. It's not that heavy, because with it being its own separate piece, it has to be able to attach to the vest, which is already a ton of weight that the dog gets put on it as alone. So I had to give that the constraint of it not being so heavy.
You probably said this, and I apologize, you were breaking in and out. What do you think the per unit cost, production cost is, and what do you think the sale price is? Did you say? Did I drive Mason off?
You offended him, Ken. He's gone.
I wasn't being too sharky, was I?
No, my dogs, they heard a noise, so they're freaking out. So that's why I muted myself and walked away to see who showed up. Calm down. Yeah, that's why I was like hoping to get my turn sooner, because then I didn't want this to go on because it could get really annoying really fast. Because I have 3 dogs, one of which is a hybrid. But the piece itself that I created cost around $60, and the amount that I would actually sell it back for is just $120 to make a $60 profit, because for each one that's made and each one that's sold, it's still making a net gain of $60 to pay back already what it's being created for. Because others are selling their products, which only protect from the shoulder's back, for around $1,000, maybe even more.
Okay, Sharks, any other questions?
No, great. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah. So if someone invested in you, what would be your next steps?
Obviously, the next step is obviously figuring out a way to mass produce this, because on my own, this takes a significant amount of time to do, because I have to, first off, make sure that it fits the dog properly, make sure that I have each piece cut correctly, and make sure that everything's fine, suited, nothing's out of place. So obviously that's the next step of getting that in.
So you got some R&D, and how long do you think that would take to go through that R&D part for the fitting and all of that?
One of the officers named Officer Humps, who has a dog named Chase, talked to me about asking about a company. I can't remember what it's off the top of my head, but I'll think of it later. They have a design system where it basically cut out each piece to fit the suit of the dog. So I figured if I go speak to them and ask them how they decided that worked, I could potentially ask them, hey, is it all right if I use this as well in for mine to get a better suit for the dog?
So each piece is right now it's individual sized, right? It's all custom?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
Good.
Thank you, Mason. Creative, good job. And you have dogs, so you know dogs.
I would like to show it off, but my one dog won't be so kind that she won't come here and let me show off because she's very skittish.
All right, Mason, thank you so much. Appreciate your presentation.
You're welcome.
And our final presentation is by Andrew Layton. Andrew, can you see us?
Yep. Can you hear me?
I can. Will we be seeing you as well? Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Andrew's concept is called Sweet Spot. And Andrew is with Austinburg Local as well. Andrew, the floor is all yours, sir.
Strike! Sharks, don't strike out. Last year, I became an Ohio high school umpire. And all I would hear from the dugouts from the coaches was, just get a hit, just make contact. So I made the perfect product for that, called the Sweet Spot. And with the Sweet Spot, what it is, it's a sleeve that you put on the end of your bat that when contact is made, it changes color so you can see how and where you made contact. And this product's unique because there's nothing else out there like it, and it can be used with other projects such as a hitting tee, live pitching, and pitching machines and hit sticks. And with over 480,000 high school players in the United States alone, it has a great market. And that's not counting softball, upper level play, or even lower level play. So the market is even bigger still. And with the real-time feedback that it gives you, this is great for hitting instructors to help their players get proper technique and show them how to hit the same spot on the bat every time. And it's a simple fact about baseball. If you can hit, you will play. It doesn't matter if you're the worst fielder on the team. If you can hit the ball, if you can put it in play, you will have a starting spot on the lineup card. And before COVID-19, I went to Petty High School to work a scrimmage. And the head coach there loved the idea. So I gave him my product to go try and practice. And he gave it to his players, and they did it in a hitting practice. And they loved it. And they said it really helped their hitting game. It really helped them grasp the concept of hitting the same spot on the bat and also find the sweet spot on the bat so you get the most bang for your buck. This product can also be taken to other sports such as golf, hockey, and even tennis with only minor tweaks. So this expands the market even more. It only cost me $5 to make the product, and I could easily sell it for $45, making $40 profit. With your help, I could get the cost lower with mass production and marketing. Sharks, thank you for your time. Let's knock the sweet spot out of the park.
Well, Andrew, that was a fun presentation. I remember when we got to watch the videos for it. I enjoyed your video. So tell me how the product's made. I mean, you've got an example there that you homemade. So tell me a little bit about how you made that prototype.
Yes, and as you said, it is a prototype. So this is just a tube sock, surprisingly, but it works very well. Mm-hmm. And I have heat-sensitive material that I turned into basically spray paint, and I spray painted onto it. And whenever heat's applied to it, so the ball hitting the bat or anything like that, it will change from this black to a gray-looking material.
Okay.
On video, it's not great to show it off, but in person, you can really see see it working, and it only takes about 20 seconds for it to turn back. So by the time you get to a full rotation, it'll be back to its normal color.
So, that's interesting because that was one of the concerns I was having when I was watching was, okay, so how many, so one of my questions was how many swings can you take and hit with it before you have to pull the sleeve off and buy another one?
Yeah, so the thing is, so in a batting practice, what you should do is swing, so you hit a spot here, rotate the bat, you swing, you'll hit it again, and it only takes 20 seconds for it to go to, so once contact is made, it'll go from a black to a white/grayish color, and then it'll take only 20 seconds to go back to this black, and it's ready to use again.
Okay, so if if I was hitting with it for say an hour and I took 50 swings or something like that, would I tomorrow be able to take 50 more, or would I mean, how long does it last? How long does one sleeve do you think will last?
Yeah, the sleeve lasts indefinitely. It doesn't fade. It is good throughout all conditions, hot, cold, indoors, outdoors. As I said, I have had a test with Perry High School, and they have taken, I don't even know how many swings. It was just doing a practice that all they did was swing, and they just used it over. It had to be 100+ swings in a day.
Wow. So you picked your, so you had your price point in your video was that we looked at was like $60, and I think you just said that you were thinking 45. Is that right? Is that what you were thinking?
Yes. With further research, I was able to actually get the price down. So the material cost to get all the material, it costs money to buy that. But once I have the material, I can make multiple of these products for a very cheap cost.
Yeah. So your concept of learning to hit the sweet spot is something that a lot of coaches are telling you to hit the center of the baseball, drive to the center of the baseball, try to knock the cover off of it. So I think this is a nice cost-effective training aid that people will buy. I kind of see it that hitting tees range anywhere from $30 to $120, and I kind of see this going to the next level of developing a bundle. You need to look at bundling this thing with the sleeve and a tee, and then the instructional app with it, and making this nice bundle that can get you some value add to it. And I think you got something. So that has an opportunity for people to use, especially little kids and youth players trying to learn how to swing a bat when their parents are at work and they're at home. They can get some feedback. So I like what you've done. I think the price point is right in with all the other stuff that people go out and buy for their kids. So
Mark, I have a quick question. So not a baseball aficionado. Aren't there competitive products to this already on the market, or is this unique?
This is unique. There is no other product out there like this that gives live feedback. There are things like video, but you have to videotape yourself and then you have to go back and watch the video. With this, if you get a good hit, you can look at basically on the sleeve where you hit the ball at, and you can try to repeat that swing, and you can use live video. And you can use it in conjunction with this, and you can use this along with hitting tees and things of the sort. So this can be used. There's no competitors. I think more of I can work with people to market this and work with them. Ideally, if this goes all the way, there's protective sleeves. I want to get the chemical in the protective sleeve that is used for bats. So the protective sleeve that you use to hit has this material on it.
Okay. Anybody else? Sue?
Good, I'm good.
Okay.
Great.
All right.
Nice job, Andrew.
Thank you, Andrew.
Good job, Andrew.
Thank you.
All right. So this is the time when our sharks are going to take a bow. What I'd like to do is just have all the presenters just turn on your videos again. Let's just give a round of applause to all the folks that you guys have worked so hard. We so appreciate your creativity, your enthusiasm, persistence, great presentations. So thank you. Thank you to you. Thank you to your educators, the teachers, the school districts. We sincerely appreciate everyone's efforts, and thank you, Sharks, for your continued support. All right, so now, Sharks, 20 minutes seems the right amount of time for you to debrief. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
I think so.
that's enough time.
We might be back early. We'll see.
All right, sounds good.
All right,
so
Nice job, everyone.
Good job, everybody. Really nice.
Congratulations.
all right, so go ahead, students. You can go ahead and turn your cameras off. We'll just do a couple of quick housekeeping items and set you guys in the breakout room. 1 second. All right, let's see. Okay. And Mark, did you get a note also to join the room? Perfect. All right. So if I've done this right, our sharks are in a room. We have, for the next 20 minutes, we're just going to spend a few minutes. This is sort of an intermission and sort of a quick history of how everything came to be. So we've invited Jay Moody. Jay is really the muscle, the energy behind the entire Stark Tank program. Jay, we so appreciate everything you've done. Let me know when you want me to cue the video up and I'll be happy to get started, sir. The floor is yours.
All right, thank you very much, Rashu. And so while I discuss our middle school Stark Tank project, I believe Rashu will show the video highlights. So go ahead. So we had 18 teams of students come together 4 times throughout the year. We met at Mount Union, Malone, Kent State Stark, and Stark State. Students engaged in design challenges to get their creative juices flowing. They learned about entrepreneurship, and they had an opportunity to hear from some local entrepreneurs. The teams brainstormed things that bugged them about their local communities or their schools. Each team then used that information to help select a problem to solve. Once they had their problem, they started to design possible solutions. As the teams worked on their solutions, they had a chance to practice their pitches and secure feedback. On the morning of our last meeting, we held semifinals in 3 different rooms. The top 2 teams from each room had the opportunity to compete in the finals after lunch. Our 3rd place team was from Sandy Valley. They created an app that locked social media apps on kids' phones until they proved to their parents that they've completed their chores. Our 2nd place team was from Fairless. Their project was to encourage community members to use reusable shopping bags by selling cloth bags, increasing the number of recycling stations for bags, and teaching elementary students how to make reusable bags out of old t-shirts. Our 1st place team was from East Canton. Their project involved engaging middle school students with senior citizens in a community game night at the Foltz Community Center. Now I need to give a shout out to Joel Daniel Harris and the team from Tom Todd Ideas, and to our many volunteers for your help with the middle school program. And I would like to recognize our local colleges and universities for their willingness to help out both with Stark Tank and Smart Stark. Mount Union, Malone, Kent State Stark, Stark State, Walsh, Altman College, and the University of Akron have all been absolutely amazing to work with. Everyone worked hard to make each experience magical for our students. We're excited to continue providing these engaging and educational experiences for our students in future years. It is our hope that we will have all districts taking part in Stark Tank next year as we work to make the event bigger and better than ever. And now I'd like to take a minute to thank our middle school and high school students for your hard work, dedication, creativity, and innovation. The teachers for finding ways to fit Stark Tank into your programs and for providing training and guidance. To the school administrators for supporting Stark Tank and our other Stark Education Partnership activities that I've been a part of. And to the Sharks for your support of Stark Tank and your willingness to make this virtual event a success. It shows that we have the ability to rise above any challenging situation. And I would also like to thank Dr. Teresa Persis, the president of the Stark Education Partnership, the rest of her staff and board members, and Rashu and his staff at Strengthening Stark for all of your time, support, and effort to make these programs possible. And now I'll turn it back over to Rashu to talk about Strengthening Stark.
Thanks a lot, Jay. Appreciate your your comments. Jay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. What we thought we'd do for maybe 5-7 minutes is share with you a little bit of history of Strengthening Stark. The Strengthening Stark movement really kicked off about 2.5 years ago in Stark County. It's the brainchild of our fearless local leaders. Too many organizations to name, but really, one organization that's been at the helm has been the Stark Community Foundation. And so through the leadership of the foundation, many incredible leaders, a report was written 2.5 years ago that identified a handful of opportunities and concerns that we have with our local economy, our talent, how our infrastructure is set up to support local businesses and economy growth. With that report, we launched really the Strengthening Stark movement, which in the first phase was all about learning what our partners were doing, what great work was going on across the county. And over the course of the last 2.5 years, we have in essence mobilized a fairly comprehensive program. And Stark Tank, everything you're seeing today is in essence one of those programs that has come to light. So if I can share a little bit of history of what Strengthening Stark is all about. If you kind of had to remember one image, give me 1 second. I'm getting a little bit of feedback here. Let's make sure that it's not an issue. 1 second. Oh, I think we're good. So if there's one image that you can use to encapsulate what Strengthening Stark is all about, we really are focusing on, in essence, 3 key areas. The first is to help grow, sustain businesses in our community. What can we do to attract new businesses? What can we do to sustain businesses? And obviously right now with the COVID-19 crisis, we have so many businesses that are suffering, business leaders that are finding themselves in a place that no one has before. So really trying to figure out what resources we have locally and what additional support we can get from outside the county to enable progress. Our hope obviously is Stark Tank becomes one of those engines. Year after year, as we conduct Stark Tank and we get more schools to participate, more ideas come about, these becomes the seeds that we sow that become the next Timkins, the next D-Bowls, 10, 15, 20 years out. So we're playing the long game with the Stark Tank idea. So that's the first pillar, which is all around business growth. The second pillar is around talent development. When we think about Stark Tank, it's really doing both those things. It's helping us think about new ideas, new concepts, new ways to tackle challenges in sort of using an entrepreneurial business mindset. But in many ways, what we're also doing is helping our local students, our citizens think about problem solving in a whole new novel way. And we can't emphasize that enough. Obviously, the COVID-19 has showed us that our next few weeks, months, potentially many months to come will be uncertain, and it will require our citizens to be more resilient and be thinking in much more of a creative and problem-solving attitude. And we hope that in one very, very small way, Stark Tank is an engine that helps us empower our local citizens to be able to pursue the dreams and opportunities that they envision for themselves. There's a lot more in that, and I'll share a few more examples of what's going on in that category. The last area is quality places. So as we look at Stark County, there are parts of our county that look beautiful and amazing and attractive, and places where you want to live, work, and play. There's other places that are not so attractive. So how do we collectively think about making our community a more beautiful, vibrant, attractive place to live in? If we want our youth to stay here, we want this to be a community where you enjoy, being part of. And we love John F. Kennedy's quote, ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for the country. And it's that attitude that really sort of underpins Strengthening Stark movement. Our hope is that through this conversation, hopefully many students, many parents, relatives, friends, neighbors, you got to see the incredible ideas that our students are thinking of. We're hoping that we can also tap into our broader citizenry And collectively, we can do some amazing things across the county. So that's sort of the overall framework of how we think about the work. Strengthening Stark is supported by, we have 3 people on staff. Rebecca Kuzma and Alicia Stout are 2 additional partners, including myself, that work. But we're really guided and supported by a large team of leaders from all sectors of our community. We have elected officials, business leaders, educators, college presidents, high school principals, superintendents, social service leaders, philanthropy leaders, and I'm sure I'm missing so many more. And it's a really comprehensive, really powerful movement. And maybe one additional point I would highlight is how unique it is that Stark County has a movement like Strengthening Stark. We hear again and again, as we're talking about Strengthening Stark to our partners, other organizations, other communities, the ability for Stark County to galvanize our citizens to think about problems in a collective manner is a unique, distinguished feature for us. And we're just getting started. That's how we like to think. You know, there's so many more ideas that we want to tap into, and we'd love your help and support in making that happen. I'm going to share with you 3 specific examples of the types of things we're doing, and there's a lot more behind this as well. Thanks to our faith leaders, our pastors, our church leaders, and we want to give a shout out to Rebecca Kuzma, who's the newest member of Strengthening Stark, and she's just knocking out these concepts out of the park for us. And we've got some amazing leadership. The challenge was as we found ourselves in this COVID-19 world, we have a whole segment of small businesses that are struggling, that are really struggling. Our pastors said, you know, we want to find a way to help our businesses. What can we do? Regional leaders like Jumpstart, which is an entrepreneurial support organization in Northeast Ohio, they contributed dollars. Our churches contributed dollars, and all of a sudden we've got several $100,000 that have been collected, so that we can give these out as grants to our small business owners who are just really trying to make a sense of this crazy COVID-19 world. So the power of this, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but really what's really interesting and powerful is that this whole concept came together literally in a matter of days, and in weeks the checks are being written and given out to our local businesses. So very excited about the incredible work that's being done on this front. So this is an example of how we're trying to collectively focus on specific issues that can hopefully have some positive impact on our economy and our citizens. I want to share with you on the talent side. Really, you know, if you can all sort of just think about where you may fit into this. This is the idea here is, I know there's a lot of jobs that have been lost in the last few months, last few weeks. And what we're trying to do is figure out how we reposition, reskill, upskill our workforce so that when the jobs come back, we're better positioned to enter the workforce with even that much more horsepower. Where can we start? I would encourage anyone listening to this chat today to go to this website called strengtheningstarkmeansjobs.com. This platform was built thanks to Ohio Means Jobs and their incredible leadership in folks like Jennifer Meek-Eels, Joanne Breedlove, and a whole host of other leaders at Ohio Means Jobs. They've helped put together a platform so that very simply and in a clean manner, you can see where are the jobs today? Where are the jobs going to be tomorrow? Approximately how much do these jobs pay? We can look at jobs by industry. We can look at jobs by occupation. And it's not just theory. As you drill into the data, you can look at specific businesses who are hiring. And then you can connect with Ohio Means Jobs portal and actually apply for those jobs. So just keep in mind that we have some really great job opportunities out there. So that's, and then as part of that, we're also looking to upskill our citizens, working with a whole host of local colleges, educational partners, to see how, for those jobs that are going to be most critically in demand, how do we launch our effort forward? And finally, related to you, the students, we're also working on something called Smart Stark. Next Wednesday, please join us, I believe from 3 to 4 p.m. on our Strengthening Stark Facebook site or YouTube site, one of the two for sure. All the colleges will be presenting ways in which this flyer I'm using was for East Canton, but next week it's actually for the entire county. So this is last week's flyer. Next Wednesday will be for the entire county. Please join us. More details you can find on our Facebook site. And the last piece I want to highlight is how we build capacity. Capacity is the horsepower. It's the gunpowder we need to do more and better work. And I just want to highlight one of the ways we think about this is to look at programs, dollars, funding, grants that are available outside of our community, how we bring those dollars into our county. And so recently we applied for something called the Paradox Prize. We won $100,000. It was the first major grant that Strengthening Stark won. The dollars will be used to help connect people with jobs when there's a transportation challenge. So how do we offset those transportation costs? That's just an example of where we hope to bring more resources. So that's sort of a sense of what we're doing, what we're thinking about. If you'd like to join the conversation, if you want to become part of our team, if you'd like us to communicate with you, please take a look at this. You can join our mailing list or you can contact us. And with that, I will see if our sharks are ready. Let's see how they're doing. You can take a few minutes break and we'll be right back. Okay, just we'll give folks a few minutes. I'm sure some of you need a quick break. Please take a 2-minute break, and we'll check in with the with our sharks and see how they're coming along.
We're back.
Oh, perfect. Good. Timing was impeccable. All right. Mr. Brat, do we have, has the jury reached a verdict?
Yes, Rishu. I do want to say, I don't know if you've ever seen sharks fighting, but no, not really. Actually, there was a lot of agreement amongst the group. Just a couple of comments and then we'll announce the winners. I want to say, I think we were all just really taken with the innovation, the thoughtfulness, the effort put into this. It exceeded my expectations. I think I speak for the Sharks in saying so. Really proud of what our school districts produced here today. You know, it's really cool because as I heard every product, we're meeting real needs, and that is the core to creating ideas, is you find that opportunity and you meet the need. So very good. So the voting was really close. As a matter of fact, we're off by tenths between each other. But like I said before, there's real agreement amongst the Sharks on where we landed. So we had a tie. So we decided that we've got 1 first place and 2 second places.
Hey, Ken, should we have them turn their cameras on so we can see faces?
Yeah, turn the cameras on, everybody.
Can we try to see your faces?
Yeah.
That's better. Yay.
Kids, or hi, young people. Sorry, when you're 58, that's what happens. Yeah, so 1 first place, 2 second places. And what we decided is the second places will get a $1,000 reward and the first place will get 2,000. So the 2 second place groups were Screen Break and Color Wall. And I just want to
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Good job. Again, I'm speaking for the Sharks, but we really appreciate you had a product, you were selling it, you were out in the marketplace, you were making things happen. Very impressive. So then that gets to our first place, which also very much interests us. They get $2,000, and that is, drum roll please, sorry, too dramatic, Vacu-Tree.
Nice
Where's
job.
Vacu-Tree at?
Good job,
Chloe?
Chloe.
Yeah. Hopefully got that on record. Her face, her expression was awesome. That was priceless. So.
Again, I'm speaking for the Sharks, but also myself. I just felt like your idea was very clever, very well conceived. And when you just look at the need and the opportunity, I think it's pretty big. So you impressed all of us. Again, I'm speaking for the Sharks, and for the whole team. Couldn't be prouder of what you guys did today. This exceeded my expectations. I hope you enjoyed it. We sure had fun. We love helping you. Oh, I have one more announcement. I'm sorry. Yeah, I just got poked in the ribs there. So one of the Sharks really liked one of the opportunities, and that said Shark is going to reach out to that group and ask if there's more investment that group would be interested in to pursue their idea further. So just so you know, there's that possibility exists. Okay, Rashu, up to you.
Wonderful. Thank you, Sharks. Thank you all the competitors. Thank you all students for everything you've done. We sincerely appreciate your efforts and we hope you sort of pursue this dream. We love the quotes that our Sharks had shared at the beginning of the conversation. The idea of keep trying, keep testing. So anyways, we thank you all, and hopefully we will get to see your incredible booming businesses in Stark County in not so distant future. You guys all have a wonderful day, and we will be in touch soon. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Congratulations.
Hi, guys.
Congratulations.